Hello everyone, this is Taryn with Wonderfully Made Handcrafting. I am excited to show you today something that I am preparing for Faith Journal July. Now this is hosted by Debbie and Diane from Pouring My Art Out for the Lord, that is Debbie's company, and then Faith Art Design Studio, which is Diane's. And so we are preparing, getting ready for July, and I just want to prepare early because I know that as the time comes, it's going to be harder for me to put all this together. I definitely want to spend my time getting this prepared so that I can focus more on the verses that we will be going through in July. And I'm so excited because I get to share one of the days and be a guest creator for that day. So today I'm going to be taking apart this book that I got at a thrift store. I just recently got a Cinch machine. So excited about that. So I'm going to be binding this. We're going to try it out. But first off, I'm going to take apart this book. It is such a lovely book. I'm so, I don't know, I'm on the fence about it because it is from 1899. This was gifted in 1905 and just, it's beautiful. I love the handwriting in it. And then it has some cute little pictures and whatnot in there as well. So we'll kind of use those later. I just realized I thought I just saw handwriting in here in the middle. Yep. Anyways, I'm going to use these pages for something else in the future and probably for a little of this book as well. But I just thought it was a cute little book cover and title for Exploring Joy. Cheerful Todays and Trustful Tomorrows. Margaret E. Sangster is the author's name. And yeah, we're just going to tear this apart. I know it's a little sad, but we're going to get through it. So head on over. I will kind of put this on fast forward so you don't have to see it all. And we're going to work on this together. Okay, so here we go. Now, the older a book is, I feel like the easier it comes apart. It's just waiting to fall apart. And so I'm just using my X-Acto knife here. Yes, I need a new blade. It is a little bit rusty, but we're just going to work with it here. But I easily undid this, and this is going to be my first time actually using a cinch machine. I just recently got one. I'm so thankful for it. Someone gave it to me, and it's just so amazing. But it's a learning process that I probably shouldn't have done on this project. And I realized with the book boards, these were a little wonky, the book, and I didn't shove it in hard enough, and so the little holes were punched out right on the edge, and that wasn't going to work. So I know that I need to redo the back. I was just testing it out right here, and sure enough, if I push it in just a little bit harder, it really gets in there nicely. So I do it okay on the front cover, which is amazing. That's the number one thing that I wanted to do. And then we're going to make our own back cover, tracing this one out and using the back of some Canson watercolor paper. So thank you for the chipboard there. And I will cover this with some old vintage paper that I have in my stash. This was some pretty thick stuff right here, and so it took quite a bit of effort. It's actually almost the same thickness as my book cover, so it's going to work perfectly for it. So anyways, like I said, I'm going to take some old vintage paper that I have and I'm going to cover it, just making sure that it lines up nicely. Now, before I press the holes through, I will cover it first so that I don't have to go around any of those holes. At first, I was going to maybe use one of those music note and lace papers, but I decided against it because it was just too white compared to the other papers I have going on here. So I have some cocoina glue here. I'm just going to press this down. This is an old newspaper from 1918. It was like a music newspaper. So I had that in my stash. So I'm just using it, and it honestly is falling apart as I fold it over. But no big deal because this book is old as well, older than 1918. And so we're just going to work with it. So I will take some of my Tim Holtz wallpaper paper that I have, and I'm just going to cover the inside. I am going to make sure that that edge is covered because there'll be a little gap in between, and this is going to be on the inside of my book. Now that I have a plan and my book's not going to be horrible because I ruined the back cover, I do have to bring that color a little bit more to the same colors I have going on in the cover. I feel like I just wanted a little bit, I don't know, matchy. It's not going to be perfect, but it's going to be a little bit better here. Now, honestly, no one's really going to look at the back cover, but I will know it's there. So that's what's important there. So I am going to use some Distress ink and Distress Oxide colors that I have. First off, I am going to punch those holes and make sure that it is shoved in there tightly so those holes get in enough so they're not falling out, or the wire's not falling out. Making sure that that looks nicely together with that black wire. And then, like I said, I'm going to use some inks to make this a little bit nicer. So at first I grab my Distress ink in Scorched Timber. Now, oftentimes I go towards the oxides, but this time I wanted it a nice and deep color, but you'll see I don't have that much inks, and so I go to my oxide in a second, and I'm going to bring in some more of those greens. I'm going to use Bundled Sage and Peeled Paint, and that's going to give me kind of the look of the front cover, but I thought the deep brown would match with the illustrations that I have going on the front cover. Always I like to add a little spritz of water to get some fun effect there. And here, like I said, I'm coming in with that Distress Oxide and Peeled Paint and Bundled Sage. We're going to just keep on working with this, and I am also going to grab some frayed burlap and Distress Oxide because at this point it looked a little cloudy, like the Bundled Sage is a little blue, and so I'm trying to cover that up but also give that grungy look. Now, if you followed me for a while, you know that frayed burlap is my favorite color. It's the perfect brown, and I believe that it really saved this back cover. So just adding that around the edges really brings in the colors of the front as well. And I'm just going to leave it as is. I think it looks good enough. It's not perfect. It's not the same. But adding that little spritz at the end with some Distress spray in Walnut Stain really kind of pulls it together and makes it look a little bit more aged. Okay, so now that this is dry, I'm going to turn over and start working on the inside. Now, I did pull together some papers while I was off screen just because I was pulling from so many different places. And I was also printing a lot of the papers from Diane from Faith Art Design Studio. I will link her Etsy shop down below, but I definitely double printed like on both sides so that I could have a full page. I also used some Tim Holtz backdrops, some vintage paper that I had in my stash. Actually, that front page of the book that had the handwriting to so-and-so in 1905, and just a couple other pieces I have, like these little file folders. Now, I did have to call my good friend Mindy when I was doing this because my brain had stopped working. And so thank you, Mindy, for helping me out with my brand new cinch. It was an easy fix that I just didn't think of, but here is that paper right here that someone had gifted this book to someone. So I'm adding that into the wires right here, and I'm just going to keep on trekking using this little cinch and cutting all these pages. Now, I could do more than one at a time. However, I was trying to be super careful as this is my first time, and so this just worked well for me. Now, honestly, I was super intimidated by this cinch machine at first, but now having done it once, I am going to be binding so much more stuff. In fact, I'm going to be binding all the papers for Exploring Joy at a later time, maybe with some Duralar film on the front and some chipboard in the back. But here it is for right now. I will definitely be working on this little junk journal throughout the rest of the month of June. You have until June 30th to get the digitals for a certain % off. I will leave all that information down below in the description. And make sure you check out the Exploring Joy Facebook group. I hope to see you over there. Bye, guys.